Hello and a very warm welcome to you from wherever you are around the world, catching up with MotoGP Fantasy Preview ahead of the Michelin Grand Prix of France. Once again, I am Liam Hodgins, and if you're wondering where your usual host is, Jack Gorst, well, he will be out for the meantime, covering Moto E duties. I know you're missing him, and I'm missing him too, so don't worry, he will be back very, very soon. Ahead of this weekend, we've got a blockbuster race ahead of us. We've got the fifth round of the MotoGP Championship, with Jorge Martin coming into this round with a 17-point lead in the World Championship ahead of Pecco Bagnaia, your race winner from Jerez 2 weeks ago. Who could forget that? A classic for the ages. Pecco Bagnaia versus Marc Marquez taking his first podium for Ducati last time out. Can he win his first race for Ducati this weekend in Le Mans? We've got to wait and find out, and it's going to be great, so make sure you're sticking with us all weekend because you will not want to miss any action at all. And of course, we've got the Moto2 World Championship, the Moto3 World Championship, and of course, we've got round 2 of the Moto E World Championship. And our guest today is one of the riders in the championship, a former Moto E World Cup winner and a two-time race winner around Le Mans. Let's welcome in Open Bag Aspar team rider Jordi Torres. Jordi, hello and welcome. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here and share this moment with you and also with the fans.
With the fans, yes, exactly. I mean, you're one of the most popular riders, not in just the Moto E paddock, but also the entire Grand Prix paddock. Like, how does that make you feel? And you're always giving everyone a big smile.
Yeah, it's a responsibility when you are here and maybe you are the more older rider that is still running on the track. But yes, I do many things in this paddock, also in World Superbikes, and yeah, still running around the world on the bikes, and yes, trying to share my experience in every bike that I put on the track, and also give more experience to make a develop to the Moto E, because the electrical bike start to be very amazing races, and also yeah, difficult to manage because always is the weekend is very fast and you need to be able to invent to do many fast movements during one lap, because it's a lap less for a short race, because at the final we do 8 laps. You can imagine how is the pressure, the things to do on the track, and also different conditions. Many riders arrive, young riders, young talents, and we'll see. But for sure, we are here and still give this experience. And now the turn is for Moto E.
Now, you called yourself one of the older riders. Let's just call you one of the more experienced riders, to not put an age into it, but how difficult is it making sure that these younger riders don't beat you out on the racetrack?
Yeah, it's difficult because the young riders have a more, how is it, can explain, have a more volunteer to do magic movements. You know,
Yes.
when you have more experience, maybe you can't better or wait more to do some movements, but the young riders don't have time, want to go forward, only think about to go ahead. And also, I learn a lot about the young riders, and it's interesting to study, to keep learning, because, okay, you have very years to catching experience, but you can keep learning a lot.
Yeah, it's very interesting because not only are they looking to you as the established star, the winner, the person to learn from, you're also learning from them as well. So it must be quite interesting that you always improve yourself as the years have gone on.
Yes, in also in different categories. It's not only the Moto E that we can learn, but also in a Moto 3, Moto 2, also, of course, with a MotoGP. But yes, when you are here uh, running with a bikes, every bike, every bike you can keep to catching experience.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we're here to play MotoGP Fantasy. However, I just want to ask you quickly about Le Mans because you won your first ever Moto E World Cup here back in 2020 with those very famous celebrations of you at the turn 5 corner, howling like a wolf. Just explain to us what Le Mans means to you and all of the emotions it brings back of the past success.
Yeah, this year that we arrive with the first year that we are arriving here in a Moto E, it's difficult to think about the win the championship. But with our regularity, with our things to learn to the other riders, how is the bike, and also you see the evolve during this year, you can see that more or less the most important is still catching points. And when we arrive here in the last race, and maybe four riders can win the championship, you know, and we do a great race, and also we have very luck because two of our opponents in this year fall down, and we'll see that is the point that we need to squeeze as maximum than as possible and take some risk for win the championship. We do and we reach this goal, and okay, this kind of celebration with our mechanics, is amazing. And also the last year we do a great result here. We reach one podium and one first victory for the team Aspar. And yes, it's a responsibility for this year because yes, the team know that we are fast here. But yes, I want this pressure. I want the team give me this pressure, and also yeah, we can do a great result here. But for sure, you never know in Moto E can happen because it's a crazy races, a short things on the track, and a little movement that you can do on the bike. Maybe it's a big mistake during the all the weekend.
Indeed, Moto E, we must admit, Jordi, is one of the most exciting racing in the entire world. We absolutely love it. It must be quite stressful for you riders, but I must admit, as a fan, as somebody that works here in the office in Barcelona, we absolutely adore Moto E. So, yeah, keep up the good racing, and we're looking forward to seeing how you do this weekend. However, before we let you go, the reason we brought you here is because of MotoGP Fantasy. So, shall we get into it? So, Jordi, obviously you know the game. Now
Yes.
we have played it for the last 4 rounds. This is our team now. Now you might see that there's a rider here that we might have to remove right away. Danny Pedrosa. He was competing at Jerez as a wild card for KTM, but for KTM indeed, and for this weekend, he's not here. So, Jordi, looking at the team, we get 2 trades. So you can either trade 2 riders or 1 rider and 1 constructor, 1 rider or 1 team, or you can leave the riders. I highly suggest you don't do that, to be honest.
Yeah.
You could change the constructor and the team. So, yeah, if this is the first time you're playing this back at home, play along with us. So, Jordi, first things first. Who would you like to change in your team?
Yeah, I think that about the Silver Rider, maybe Danny Pedrosa is necessary to change,
Are you
and
sure?
we can move it. Yeah, of course,
And
100%.
100%. So, Danny Pedrosa, we remove him. So that leaves us with a remaining salary of 1.7 million. Now, if we scroll down, that might not buy us too much. Taka Nakagami is one. Raul Fernandez is another. Franco Morbidelli, who has, to be fair to Franco, started to show a little bit of
Yeah.
form. Um, Also, we've got Augusto Fernandez, and yeah, the other remaining wild cards from the previous race. Now, we don't have to make a change just yet, Jordi. What we can do is if we scroll back up to the top, we can either remove Mark Marquez, Pedro Acosta, or Jorge Martin, which gives us a little bit more money.
Yeah, maybe Pedro Acosta, we can move it because I think, tell me if you are agree with my thinking, but maybe change Pedro Acosta for Maverick Viñales.
Pedro Acosta from Maverick Vinales. Now let's see how much that gives us. 4.10 million. Maverick Vinales. I think you're thinking here, Jordi, is actually quite spot on because Maverick here is extremely fast. A winner here for Yamaha previously, very fast last year before his collision with Pecco
First
Bagnaia.
crash, yeah.
Yes. Maverick Vinales, have we gone past him? No, we have not. So, Maverick, let's see how much he is. 2.8 million.
2.18.
So, we can afford Maverick. So, let's put Maverick into the team. That leaves us with 1.3 million. So, I think we might not have enough for another rider. Let's just scroll down once more to double check that. So, Takanaki Gami, 1.4. Joan Mir 1.8, Franco Morbidelli 1.4. So unfortunately, Jordi, if we put Maverick in the team, we will not have enough for another rider. So we will have to remove Maverick again. If that's okay for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not agree 100%, but it's necessary to move to put another rider in a silver, no?
Indeed.
In a silver
indeed.
slot.
And a silver slot, of course. So let's just refresh that page. There we go. So let's remove Pedro Costa and Danny Pedrosa. We cannot do that because that leaves us without. So Danny Pedrosa, we remove. If you want to put Maverick in the team, we'll have to remove Jorge Martin or Marc Marquez. Or would you like to maybe remove Pedro Acosta again and bring in Maverick, or bring in another rider that's a little bit less expensive than Maverick Vinales?
Yeah, the Jorge Martin stay on the gold is a good bet, I think, because sure. Here in Ducati also, in Le Mans, Ducati still always, I think the last 4 or 5 years are winning.
Yes, you're right. The last 4 years they have won here at Le Mans. So yeah, Jorge Martin, championship leader as well. So he's on good form, even though he had a bit of a blip last time out in Jerez. So yeah. I agree with you. I think Jorge Martin is probably a good option, but I'll let you pick.
And here also in Le Mans is a difficult track. We know that Pedro do a great job. It's amazing, great job. But also this kind of track is also strange. I don't know if Pedro still in the same way. I don't know if you are 100% complete agree with this, but yeah, I have more feeling with Maverick. I don't know why.
More feeling with Maverick. So, shall we move then, Mark? Should we take Mark out of the team, maybe? Yes, take Mark out of the team. So that leaves us with 4.6 million, which means we can afford Maverick now, which is always very good.
Yes.
So Maverick, let's put him into the team, and that leaves us there with 1.8 million remaining.
1.18.
So in that case, we can afford Takanaki Gami, Joan Mir, so he is right on the money there. Joan Mir started to show quite well in the race at Jerez. Further down, we have Franco Morbidelli, as we've already spoken about, on the Pramac Ducati, also showing quite well in Jerez and also in testing. I believe he was in the top 4 on the Monday after Jerez, and also Augusto Fernandez and Jack Miller, of course, who is riding the KTM a little bit. He's had the hardest time so far, has Jack. But we always know how fast he is. A former winner around here in Le Mans 3 years ago. So, yes, we have 4 riders we can choose from. Jordi, who takes your pick? Who do you think will be the best placed?
Which is your sensation?
My
because
sensation.
Jack Miller is not bad option, Jack Miller.
I agree, Jack Miller. And you never know, if it rains this weekend, Jack Miller could be one to watch out for. So if it was me personally, Jordi, I don't want to give you the decision. All on your own, I would either pick Jack Miller or maybe Franco Morbidelli. So
I prefer Jack Miller because, yes, you are right that in the mixed condition, maybe Jack Miller have
Jack
more.
Miller. Indeed, indeed.
That we
So
are now at zero.
at zero, yes, no salary remaining. So we've hit the nail right on the head, Jordy, with this one. So, yeah, would you like to move Maverick Vinales over to your gold team, or maybe move one of the other riders here to the silver team?
Yes, it's possible switch Maverick to Pedro
Maverick
without
for
any cost.
without any cost. Indeed, indeed. No cost at all. There we go. So,
Perfect.
are you happy with that? Jorge Martin
Yeah,
and Maverick Vinales in your gold team?
perfect. I think it's
Indeed.
a dream team now.
I think you're absolutely right. I believe Maverick could be back on form here this weekend. Jerez wasn't quite the smoothest weekend for Aprilia or Maverick, but this weekend, as he showed last year, could be
Yeah.
a very big weekend for Maverick and Aprilia. So, yeah, Jordy, I think you've picked a very good team there, to be honest, if I do say so myself, without any help from me. So, just to recap for you at home as well. So, Jordi Torres has picked Jorge Martin and Maverick Vinales as the gold riders, and the silver riders, Pedro Acosta and Jack Miller. Pedro Acosta still chasing his first MotoGP victory and to become the youngest ever MotoGP winner. And Aprilia is a constructor, and Red Bull KTM Factory Racing is the team as well. So, Jordy, back to talking about this weekend. It's been a great track for you in the past. Has Le Mans? It's been a very you won there last year, the first race for Ducati and the team as well. So you must be feeling extremely confident coming into this weekend, even if the weather is dry or if it's wet.
Yeah, in this category in Moto E, you need always to stay alert because always you are on the track, you don't know how is the performance of the tarmac, also the humidity, also the track temperature, and you need always to adapt to your riding style to different conditions. Also, the sessions, the FP1 and FP2, have a very time in the both sessions and can change a lot. Also, the bikes that run in there on the tarmac leave many rubber, and after the grip are very different. And you need always to adapt and also learn about the track condition in a few corners. That means that maybe in a 6 or 7 corners you need to understand how is the track, how is your potential, how needs to adapt your riding style in this condition. And yes, we're talking about before my experience, but maybe this give me a little more to understand better. Doesn't mean that is more faster necessary, but maybe you can understand better your situation and after explain to your mechanics that you felt on the track to adapt your riding style and also adapt a little the bike because we don't have any long sessions, we don't have many laps during all the weekend, and yes, it's necessary to your adaptability to be the more fast and as possible in independent of the situation, and also learning about your riding style, understand well how want the bike to ride, and need adapt your riding style. Yeah, very strange, but this is strange if you don't ride in a Moto E. But always when you are there at the final, is a bike very powerful, leaning well, entry well of the corners. You can brake hard, have a lot of spinning, use a lot the traction control, and to be the most performant that as possible, it's necessary to understand your lane, your speedy in the middle of corner, trying to turning well during the corners. Yeah, many things that give me this uh, bright to still hear and still give the maximum show than as possible.
I must admit, Jordi, like I have never ridden a Moto E bike. I've not ridden a bike since my Aprilia 125 days, but you're making me want to have a shot of a Moto E bike now. They sound amazing, especially the smile you have on your face when you're telling the story
Yeah,
of what they're like to ride. So it's good to
and
see
you,
you're having a lot of fun.
yeah, and you can imagine everything this. Listen a lot. Your heart pushing hard, tum tum, tum tum. You know, and also listening the wind or listening the knee slider on the tarmac, and I don't know, listening the chain hitting the swing arm. Also, listening the rear tire when you are sliding. How is the I don't know the sound when you no many different inputs that give you a lot of you know uh, wanted to
A big
give
sensation.
more. Yeah.
Oh, Jordi, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. And just from your enthusiasm, it's infectious coming through the screen back to me. And you've got a big personality, a big smile, as everybody knows. Just one quick thing before we get into predictions. Have you ever considered post-retirement hosting your own talk show?
Posting the home tyrant.
No, after retirement from Moto E, would you ever
Ah,
consider
wow.
hosting your own talk show?
We have a
Jordi
big
Talks.
deal. Yeah, we have a big deal there because okay, I love the childrens. I love share my experience to the young riders, and also I think it's very important that not only the not only uh, know how is the childrens need to go faster on the track, to learning about the the lanes or this kind of things that very young riders know it. It's also maybe I can share better how is the comportment of the track with your family. Their parents know how is the work of the children. You know, to bring a good personality, to know very well how is the the things around one race with many fathers or many children racing there. You know, this is one a big option, and also, yeah, be involved in a one team to share my experience to the mechanics, or it's like a Nicoterol work, something like this is like a team manager or maybe a coach manager. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. At the moment, we are here. We're still running, and in my focus is always one click of preload, turning better the bikes. You know.
Well, retirement is far in the future. We don't have to worry about that now. All it is right now, racing and seeing how well you can do this weekend. Now, Jordy, one last thing before we let you go very quickly. Who do you predict to win the MotoGP sprint this weekend and, of course, the Grand Prix on Sunday?
The main race. Yeah, I think the sprint is yeah 99% to Jorge because he is still very aggressive and fast. And for their main race, for the Grand Prix, I don't know, but yes, that the same that I explained before. Maybe Maverick Viñales have this. Yes, because at the final the Jerez is a strange. It's a strange weekend because yes, with drops of rain, after still in a mixed condition with pieces of water in a Spanish race with a lot of pressure, you know, for Maverick or also for the Spanish riders, it's not a perfect weekend. Here maybe can show the potential that give us in Portimao, for example, and also in yeah in many races that's still there, still on the front, but maybe he can hit the table and still on the front.
Anything can happen this weekend.
Yeah,
Jordy,
of course.
it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on MotoGP Fantasy Preview ahead of Le Mans this weekend. And of course, we can always just say to you, best of luck this weekend. And we hope that we can see you back on the podium again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jordy. Take care.
Bye bye.
Well, there he is. Jordi Torres has picked the team for this weekend ahead of Le Mans. Jorge Martin, Maverick Vinales in your gold team. Silver team, Pedro Acosta and Jack Miller. What can they do for the Pura Mobility Group this weekend? And of course, the constructor is Aprilia, and the team is Red Bull KTM Factory Racing Team. Now, if you would like to play along this weekend, make sure you get involved, even if you haven't played before, because we've still got some wonderful prizes for you in our weekly competitions. If you play our weekly GP, if you become our weekly GP winner, you get 2 MotoGP tickets for any GP of your choosing. So make sure you get playing along. Also, you can join up with the LCR Honda Teams League, and there's prizes for the top 3 as well. If you're already part of the competition, we have the season competition prizes assigned. Helmets by our very own world champion, Pecco Bagnaia, for first place. A second place, you get the MotoGP 24 video game, which was just released last week, along with a PlayStation 5. And of course, in third spot, you get the Tissot T-Race MotoGP Limited Edition watch. 3 fantastic prizes, so make sure that you get your team sorted for this weekend. And I suggest maybe take some pointers from Jordi Torres. He said some very good things and very important things about some riders that could perform this weekend. Now, make sure you join us throughout the entirety of the weekend across all of our MotoGP platforms, MotoGP.com, and of course our social media to stay up to date with everything MotoGP ahead of the Michelin Grand Prix of France. All I can say to you now is thank you for joining us, and we will see you for the next one ahead of the Catalunya GP.